Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to episode 12 of Vagina Devil Magic, a podcast by me, Lisa Lee Curtis. Thanks for hanging around for this weird podcast of sorts. It's still kind of weird to call it a podcast because I have this very specific picture in my head of what a podcast is. Still, I've been doing this for a while and for the longest time, all I pictured were dudes from the open mics back when I did comedy on the regular, sitting up shop in their basement or their parents' basement and smoking weed and, generally talking about shit that only they found funny, mostly because they were high. And of course, that's evolved. These days, that image is evergreen. I know there's celebrities who have anywhere from a professionally set up studio to a charming little home studio in their really nice house, chatting it up with other celebrities or whatever. And then you've got feminist themes, podcasts, serial killer themed podcasts. There's so many. But yeah, what I'm doing here, it's just another form of a podcast. Just me talking into the cosmos like someone who was given the midnight to 2 a.m. slot at the community radio station. But you know what? I always wanted that midnight slot at the community radio station. And so this is great. And 3 or 4 of you seem to really like this shit. So yay. Anyway, as always, I appreciate your feedback. If you want to drop me a line, please do so either in the comment section of whatever medium you're listening to this shit on, or feel free to send an email to Dear VDM, kind of like Dear Abby, but VDM, Vagina Devil Magic, dearvdm@gmail.com. So yeah, I was offline for a bit earlier this week, where, again, I've mentioned this before, we're in the middle of the rainy season down here in my part of Costa Rica, and the weather can be wild. It can be super nice and sunny and beautiful. Next thing you know, it's raining in your house. So good times. Anyway, so I couldn't get online for a lot of that, so I spent my time adding cool and or weird shit to my Etsy shop. It's a new hobby of mine. So if you're into shirts wishing your abusers dead, or punching Nazis, or witchcraft, or reclaiming weird insults that people have lobbed over to us, in comment sections, like trollop or, feminist killjoy, whatever. Go check it out. You can go to Etsy and search Vagina Devil Magic, and after a few other interesting things come up, like a ceramic vulva and a bottle of lube and, other stuff, you'll find my Etsy storefront that is named Vagina Devil Magic. Check it out if you're into it. And if you're like, why the fuck would I want any of that? Cool, I get it. Absolutely don't check it out. So yesterday on social media, I made a post asking for input on whether or not they think that it's better to be married as a parent and why. And I wanted people to set aside any bullshit faux morality to children born out of wedlock. I mean, that's a term that people still fucking use that on purpose. What year is it? But it's gross. So just put that aside and any other judgment from outside sources. I wanted to see if anyone could make a case for how it's somehow better for the parent to be married, and better for them, better for the child. It came up because someone my daughter knows, my daughter who is unmarried and also an amazing mother to a badass 10-year-old. They'll occasionally wax poetic about how it's better to be married as a parent. But there's, again, nothing to back it up. And what's interesting is that person's own experience doesn't seem to mirror that. But it stems from seeing someone, this person who brings this up, someone who she loves, who has a child from a previous relationship. And, he was a fucking meth addict, okay? He was a meth addict who did some really bad shit. Over the course of years, lots of bad shit. Well, he, in his last prison stint, he has traded meth for religious zealotry. And I mean the kind where they stand on street corners and yell at sinners. They get their signs and everybody's going to burn in hell and they think Doja Cat is Satan. It's weird. But now he's married, and he has since had a child within that marriage. So, it's better to be married. Why? No idea. The pieces weren't connected. For me, it seems like it's better not to be a meth head, but again, he's on the street corner, whatever. So yeah, I decided for funsies to pose this question on my page. And the responses for the people who actually read the post and understood that we're not talking about societal expectations, nor are we talking about benefits, as a married couple separate from taxes, but actual benefits in regards to children, parenting. What benefits do the parents being married bring to the table? I mean, and so no, the comments confirm that no, it's not inherently better to be a married parent versus an unmarried parent. Obviously, I feel like it's obvious. Of course, some people miss the point about the actual marriage part of the equation, and they're going, that's going to happen, obviously, because hi, it's the internet, and hi, people can't fucking focus, and, I'm people, so I get it. But I had only a couple people that said, yeah, well, but kids do better with a father figure in the house. I mean, first of all, can we fucking not? Like I said in the post, this is a multi-layered conversation, not an episode of your favorite sitcom where the father is actually involved and not rotting on the couch and demanding sandwiches. I mean, let's go with that though. Let's go with that. There's nothing saying a father figure isn't in the house, or at least involved. But being married, a marriage certificate is not necessary to raise a child and do it well. A marriage certificate is not actively beneficial for the child. A marriage certificate is not the only way a father figure is going to be present. It's a legal contract, not a parental trait that will benefit children. And, people brought it up how it's nice to have a second set of hands. But again, we don't need to be married for those hands to be there. It can be a significant other, it can be a family member, it can be a grandparent, whatever. I mean, I had several folks comment with their own scenarios of co-parenting without a marriage contract. Like I was with a guy for 4 years, give or take, before my current partner, who was pretty great overall. Like, he was a great second set of hands when needed. He didn't overstep. We weren't married. These weren't his stepchildren. I did not want to get married. He did, but whatever. But the thing is we were kind of a family unit while we cohabitated together. And he stepped up when appropriate, because it doesn't have to be a spouse. Marriage is not a prerequisite that's necessary for that second set of hands to co-parent with, if that's something you want or need. And also, as a billion women, and yeah, of course, a few men do know, a legal marriage contract does not guarantee your spouse will be in an additional set of hands. They might be more of a drain. That happens quite a bit. And so, reluctantly, I used a celebrity couple as an example, because they're a great example. They're a very visible example. Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. They have been together for just shy of 50 years. They raised kids, 2 from her previous marriage, 1 from his, and they had 1 together. Never married. They had both done the whole marriage thing before and decided it wasn't necessary for their relationship. And fortunately, I didn't have anybody come screaming in about, well, they've got a boatload of money. It has nothing to do with that. Don't care. Stay focused on what the question was. Is marriage important / necessary / better for children? This isn't a discussion about bank accounts or privilege or Nepo babies or how you didn't know that Kurt's son Boston existed before today, because I sure didn't. But I do know real life versions of this too. People who have been together for ages and did not get married because they didn't want to for whatever reason, and it did not hinder their ability to parent. But like I said, you don't know those people, so you get Goldie and Kurt. And the closest thing to a relevant but wasn't even about the day-to-day. It was sadly about health insurance in the United States. It's such a fucking racket. I've railed on about this before, but those scenarios still, even though it's a relevant, scenario, well, they got married because so-and-so, had insurance the other person didn't. So these were based on the step parent having access to better health insurance or whatever. And I hate that this is even something we have to war with. Just as I hate that there's a swath of folks in the U.S. who can't get married at all because it would nullify their eligibility to receive disability benefits. It sucks. The United States is so fucked on how it takes care of its people, or, doesn't take care of its people. And as we know, I've lived a bit of a life, so it's not surprising that I actually forgot about this little tidbit from my own fucking life until just a little bit ago. But I just remember that a man I was casually seeing several years ago, he knew about some health stuff I had going on. This is back in 2015 4 and I had no health insurance, right? I was working all the time, but it was contractual stuff and no health insurance. And well, that's the summer my body decided to do some real fun shit. So not only did my HPV related cancer come back, I dealt with like surgeries and stuff for pre-cancer and stage 1 cancer from shit going wild, but that came back 12 years after the first go around. And I was very, very lucky. I caught it in a very early state, which was detected during a routine visit to Planned Parenthood. So, they saved my fucking life, so again, but then that year is also the year I decided to develop an acoustic neuroma, which is a tumor, technically a brain tumor, but that always sounds so dramatic to me, but it's a tumor that forms on the nerve that leads from the inner ear to the brain. But it can be a real motherfucker. It was affecting my equilibrium and a few other things, and it can kill you. It can get bigger and it can do bad things. So yeah, I had to get that taken care of with no health insurance. You are so fucked if you don't have health insurance. So yeah, this guy who I knew, who I was dating, is again too formal of a word. We knew each other and we'd slept together, and he liked me quite a bit. And he fucking offered to marry me specifically for the health benefits. He was military, had great benefits, and he's like, "This can be an on-paper marriage. We don't have to live together. I just don't want you to die." Good guy. And I nearly took him up on it, but in hindsight, thank God I did not. Because he would have been a very bad choice for a lot of reasons. And to think about that, like I may have taken him up on it for the health insurance, both for me and for my kids, but having him in the house would have been very not good for the kids. Long story short there, not only did he take it personally that I didn't accept his offer and got kind of shitty with me, red flag, hello, but he also showed his temper out at a friend's house when I wasn't focusing all my attention on him. Again, we weren't dating, so it was weird. Anyway, it's fucked. I mean, I ended up getting most of my medical care written off due to my shit economic situation, and I payment planned the rest, but it's wild to think that I may have taken him up on that and been legally bound to somebody who was not good for me or for my kids. That marriage would not have been better, for parenting my kids. So anyway, just like it's criminal that you might have to marry someone to have access to healthcare, it's criminal that some folks have to stay single or even get a divorce that they didn't want because they'll be less eligible for life-saving care. It's all fucked that our healthcare options in the United States are dependent on a spouse or dependent on keeping a specific job. That, we will literally stay in an unhealthy situation sometimes just to stay alive, which makes no sense, but America. And all of that aside, yeah, not a benefit to you as a parent. As to the actual parenting is what I'm talking about. As to the rearing of children, marriage is great if you're into it. Fuck, I'm married and I have an amazing partner. Would I marry him again? Yeah, I hit the dude lottery with this one. Everyone loves him. They tolerate me, but they love him because he's a fucking gem. Would I ever get married again if he came to his senses and ran off into the sunset with someone who isn't the worst? Or, if he was abducted by aliens or eaten by a mutated sloth? No, I would never do this again. I just wouldn't. Why? But yeah, so it's interesting when people will say, well, for health insurance, I mean, that sucks. Again, that still isn't a benefit to parenting, and it could be very beneficial. But you could also get trapped into a legal binding contract with somebody who is not good for you, not good for your kids. It's just, again, marriage is awesome if you're into it, but you should not be forced, pressured, shamed, or otherwise into getting married. And especially, or even if, or whatever, somebody tries to say, oh, it's just better. It's better to be a married parent. Why? Show the work. You can't. Another conversation that was had a few times in a few different little places this last week. Like, for instance, the other day, I posted, I guess it was just yesterday, I posted a picture of my face, which I don't post a lot of pictures of my face. I like my face fine. It's just not really, my brand, for lack of better words to call it. It's just, I don't need pictures of my face all over the place. I'm always kind of I find it funny when people say, oh, I've never seen your face before. It's like, it's literally on my bio and frequently in my cover photo with my book stuff. But whatever. Again, that's just it. I don't put my face out there a lot. I like my face. It's fine. But anyway, so I made this post, with, because I actually attempted to curl my hair for the first time in a while. I live in a jungle. The jungle thinks it's funny when I try to, curl my hair. It does not hold a curl. So anyway, I posted that. And before I hit post, I was like getting ready to say, hey, I'm not wearing any makeup, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, fuck that. That sounds like an apology to me. I'm not apologizing for my fucking face. But anyway, I posted that and said, hey, this is my face. If you also have a face and feel comfortable showing that face, please share and I put fave. I'm just now seeing a fucking typo. But yeah, so people posted their faces and their smiling faces and some pictures, their cats, and one guy posted a raccoon and people did what I almost did too. I mean, not everybody did, and I am not casting aspersions because we do that, but they were like, oh, this is me with no makeup and this and that. And, we should not have to announce that. We're walking around in our fleshy prisons. It's just, because again, like I said, why, when I started doing that, why? It's my face. I am 54 years old. I think I look pretty okay. Not for a 54-year-old, but for an anything-year-old. Like I said in the post, it's like, I could look worse. People talk about aging gracefully or, oh my God, look at their face. Look, they look way older than they are. Who the fuck cares? I mean, so much of it is genetics. We have no control over it. We have no fucking control over it. My mother lived a very, very stressful life. Her life sucked. Her upbringing sucked. My dad sucked. Some of the shit she dealt with my older siblings sucked. And she looked way younger than a lot of people her age. Bitch didn't even go gray. I'm going gray. My mother never went gray, but it's genetics. Is it because of clean living? No. It's because she was pampered? Absolutely not. And I've had people say, oh, you look great for your age. Okay, whatever. And for a long time, I looked very young. I think I've caught up. And again, that's okay. I could look a lot worse. Like I've mentioned, sometimes I jokingly say I'm at the age where occasionally I look at the skin on my neck and go, uh-oh. But I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I've spent a lot of time hating my body, and I still don't love it, but it is what it fucking is. I like to eat. I don't eat a ton, but my body wants to be a certain size. I literally have to starve myself to get down to what some people might think is an acceptable size. And I'm tired of it because, like I've mentioned on a few things, I spent so much time worrying about it through my 20s, through my 30s, through my 40s. I'm 54. I have been the same weight. I keep hitting the same weight for years. I was going to say 20 years, but it's been longer. Like my body has a true north, and that puts me at about a size 16, 18, 20, depending on the fucking pants. They say, and I used to say this on stage when I did comedy. They say that that there was some study saying that if you keep losing and gaining back the same 5 pounds, the same 10 pounds, it cuts years off your life. It's like, well, bitch, I have lost and gained the same 40 pounds. I should be dead in 1948. I mean, it's just. Again, I spent so much time. I look at my food blog thing from years ago. Some of you follow my shit might know that I started working on my most recent, which was, still years ago, but My Filthy Kitchen. That's my website, myfilthykitchen.com. My Filthy Kitchen on Facebook if you want pictures of food and the occasional recipe, and then like dead spaces of 2 or 3 years. But I look at my old blog, the one that predates that, and it was so weight focused. It makes me sad now. Like I might actually cry. Okay, I started to cry and I hit pause. But seriously, to look at how much time I spent hating myself and counting calories and worrying about the fat content in salmon. I mean, give me a fucking break. And it wasn't like I had some kind of health issue that needed to be addressed. I was just chubbier than the world thinks I should be, you know? The only time I've been under 200 pounds is when I was kickboxing 5 to 6 days a week, like for a couple hours at a time. And it was not sustainable. Also, I shouldn't be kickboxing with all the metal in my back. I damaged my neck because it was taking the brunt of it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, all these years, literal decades, probably as far back as my mid-20s, I have been fighting and fighting and fighting and fighting a losing battle because I am the same weight as I was at 44, at 34, and again, probably at 24. I am just about 4 pounds less than my true north, quote unquote, the weight that my body likes to go to. Last fall, I started looking great, asterisk. And people were like, oh my God, you look great. Well, I had some kind of mystery ailment where I was barfing and I couldn't eat. So I'm just like, hey, yeah, thanks, I'm dying. Which, you know, of course, makes people feel very awkward. You know, they're trying to pay you this great compliment that you look thinner. And they don't want you to tell them that it's because you are vomiting every 2 seconds. But don't worry, everyone, I'm better now. My clothes that I could fit into again, no longer, I can't. And the ones that I've been wearing the last couple of years, they fit me great, which is great because, as I've mentioned to a few people, it is fucking impossible to find clothes to fit my fat ass. You know, size 16, 18 down here, good luck. Definitely not where I live. And I looked at, you know, a couple stores in the big city of San Jose. No, so I shop up north. That's what I do. When I visit the States, I buy something if I'm needing it, like a new pair of shorts or whatever, and I mule that shit back down with me. But yeah, my body is my body. This is it. And again, I actually eat pretty healthily, you know. I'm not counting my calories. I won't do that. But I don't eat a bunch of bullshit. Like my mom lived to 92 years old. My mom with the, you know, looking young forever and not going great. My mom lived to 92 fucking years old with a diet that when I go grocery shopping, I would tell people, hey, does it look like I'm shopping for a 14-year-old slumber party? Because I'm not. I'm shopping for my 90, 91, 92-year-old mother. You know, ice cream by like the fucking gallon. Orange soda was her big deal, but like any full sugar soda, golden Oreos, Ritz crackers, gummy bears, and she had no health issues, none. She had no diabetes. People like to say, oh, that's a precursor to diabetes right there. Anytime somebody posts like a picture of a cake or something, it's like, that's not how it works. That's not how it fucking works. And my mother is, she's a testament to that. She was healthy as a horse. When she died, she just, you know, she was old. Or, you know, her mom died at 83. She died at just shy of 93. She did all right. But if I ate this same diet, I know how I'm built. I would have had a stroke. My heart would have blown up. People on my dad's side of the family, their hearts just blow up. So I'm certain that if I ate the way my mother ate and maintain a cool 125 pounds, you know, we have very different machines. Even within the same family, we are running on different machines. What works for me won't work for you. What works for my mom would kill me, you know? So yeah, we have got to stop being so goddamn critical of ourselves. And yeah, really monumental thought there, Lisa. Nobody's ever thought of that. But I feel like we need to say it to each other. We need to tell ourselves. We need to address our fat phobia, internalized or otherwise, because I used to be, you know, I wouldn't want somebody to say it to me, but I was super critical of other people's bodies. For fucking what? It's so dumb. And I've got some friends that I know, they're thinner than me, and they always have been. And I know that there's some latent fat phobia there. They're not cruel to me. They don't say shitty things, but I do hear the comments in regards to other people's bodies when they're actually only commenting on the body. If there's a health issue, yes, I understand. If your best friend Diane just was diagnosed with diabetes and now she's face fucking a fucking pie, yes, let's maybe be a little concerned. But you can't look at somebody's body and know what's going on there. You can't look at somebody's fat body and assume that they're getting diabetes, and you can't look at somebody's thin body and assume that they've got everything going on. Like, I've got a 140-pound male friend who has got maybe 3 ounces of body fat, and he can't eat eggs. He can't eat cholesterol because his body naturally is producing way too much cholesterol. So he has to watch that shit. My body, my Appalachian genes that were, brought up on bacon grease and full fat everything, I don't really have that issue. And I am a cool, 60 to 80 pounds heavier than this guy, but I can eat eggs. But again, it's just a bummer that we spend so much time hating our bodies, and our bodies, especially if we've got a body that runs otherwise well, we got to be fucking thankful for that. Like, my body is a fucking douchebag, man. I keep trying to grow cancery stuff, and I've got, a bunch of metal holding my back together because my back started to cave in, and a lot of stuff. It's all it's some of it's kind of interesting, but I don't like to talk about it. But even with all that, I am so thankful that I'm upright. I'm thankful that I'm mobile. I'm thankful that I am strong. And, I sound like I'm good enough. I'm smart enough and people like me. But I got to start liking my body better. I just got to stop, seeing pictures that are taken of me on the sly and wanting to throw myself off a bridge, because I'm still there. I'm confident. I'm generally pretty comfortable in my own skin, but I can be absolutely derailed by a bad picture, and it's so stupid. I've really tried to calm down about that. Like, my husband will see pictures of me. He goes, "Oh, I love this picture." And I'm like, "Are you fucking high? Is that what I look like?" And then the wrong answer is yes, even though it is. So yeah, I'm trying to practice what I preach. And I mostly do, but I'm a human being. I am a woman on the planet. And I would absolutely like to be the epitome of, I'd like to be Angelina Jolie, like at age 32. That's what I want to look like. I don't. I'm never gonna. I'm pushing 60 at this point. I don't know. Are you pushing 60 when you're 54, or do you have to be 56? It might just, I don't know. I don't know the rules, and I really don't care. So with that, I'm going to go finish the meal I started earlier. When I started preparing earlier, I'm having a full-on Mediterranean feast. I'm making some hummus and tzatziki sauce and some other things, and I'm going to eat it all. I'm going to eat every last fucking bit of it. Anyway, thanks for listening to my rants, and I'll probably see you next week.